What up, everybody? Today is called Let's Play Men's Night and get the club stuck behind us as much as possible. So starting on the first hole, par 5, we get the club stuck behind us and absolutely blow it left. Thankfully, we have a bit of a look. I hit hybrid here, trying to launch it over the trees. Hit it a touch fat, so it didn't launch over the trees as much as I wanted. However, it did get through. Had a cut gap wedge into this pin. Wind was really aggressive. Unfortunately, didn't cut enough, but we do have a pretty straightforward chip here, and thankfully pulled that off and left ourselves with a very easy par putt to kind of get through that first hole, which was great. Second hole here, this is probably my favorite hole today, and it's downwind, and I am just looking to absolutely launch one, but we get stuck, and we launch it to the right. Now, thankfully, I launched it right enough to not be a problem. So this left us with about 117 into a back pin, and I just hit a sand wedge nice and high, hoping this will kind of bounce and run out, but we just had a bunch of rain, and so the greens are going to be pretty soft today, and I made some errors as a result of that. We've got the lab in the bag. I'll have more to talk about on another video about that. Missed this lag putt and just kind of blew it past, and thought I had this kind of tracking perfectly, and it just did not turn back. So that's our first bogey of the day. The third hole was closed, so we're here playing the practice hole as our third hole. It's playing 114 yards downwind, and I've got a 60-degree wedge, and actually threw a nice little dart here, which was pretty good. Now, what you can't see here is there's like two different spines here on this green, and it's tough to putt on this green just with some of the contours. Thought that was going to break more, but it absolutely didn't. But that's fine. Back to hole number 4 on the main course, and this is 130 yards, wind hard off the left, just peppered a nice little draw in there that the wind kind of pushed back, which was great. It spun back about 7 feet, which was more than I'd hoped, but that's fine. This took a huge hop, and I'm going to slow it down for you here. Look at that rock that I did not see. It was so bright out. Probably should have cleared that out. Might have been closer, but whatever. We tapped that in for par, and we are still one over. We have the par 5 fifth hole here, and trying to not get the club stuck behind us. So I try and really reef on this one to bring it around, and it just doesn't turn enough and ends up on the right side of the trees. So I take a little 6-iron here and try and punch it through and down. I've had a bad habit of kind of hitting trees on the punch out, so I really wanted to keep it low and wanted to run this up there with a little sand wedge, and it just died on the front edge. That's just poor on my part. I probably should have given a little more gas, but it is what it is. We lag this up there. It takes the first break, but I just gave it a little too much speed, and so it just ends up on the left side of the hole, but that's fine. We just putt this in for another par. Hole number 6. Trying to, again, not to get the club stuck, but we definitely do, and so we're going to flare this to the right. It's going to bank off this tree, I think, and end up short. We have a bit of a window here. We've got some overhanging trees, so I try and hit like a punch cut sand wedge. There was no chance I was getting close to this pin from there, so we just had to play for this. Anyway, left us with this lag, and honestly, I was pretty pleased with this lag considering just the break and the everything. Yeah, happy to get away with a par there. Hole number 7, trying to not get the club stuck, and so we just try and reef a cut out there, and actually this one was pretty good. Not too dissatisfied with this one. Had a punch gap wedge here from 125 yards. Actually, I think it was 117 to the pin, playing it like it was 125, and it pinned high and then spun back. Had this for birdie, and it just, so close. That would have been an awesome putt to drop. Unfortunately, it did not, which brings us to the 8th hole. This is playing downwind. Just going to launch a high cut up there and let the wind do its thing, and we did not get stuck on this one, which was great. So I'm thinking, we're feeling good. This is on a downslope. I try and pepper in a smoothie there and absolutely just line drive it. So now we're behind the bunker. We have some room to work with, and I just literally a foot, and this was going to bounce onto the green. Instead, it bounced back into the bunker. I was not going to hit this bunker shot and get it remotely close, so I decided to just hybrid it out, and it's probably my best shot of the day. I'm not going to lie. I'm most proud of that, to get up and down for bogey. So now we're 2 over. Trying to then hit this hard and not get the club stuck, but oh baby, we are stuck. And this goes way right, and that is phenomenal. So we have a 196 to the pin, and I'm trying to just hit a punch 6-iron out there to just short of that bunker because I did not want to shove it into these trees. So just trying to course manage my way around and just see what happens. This one too just got a little weak on it, didn't run it up there. Normally that would run all the way to the hole, but again, greens are soft because of the rain. I'm not making the adjustments, so that's on me. Didn't give this one enough gas, and that's par. So 2 over, considering I am a horrific ball striker today, I didn't think that was overly terrible. This is the best shot of the tee shot of the day. Just a stinger hybrid. It's my favorite. Unfortunately, I didn't get the second shot here. Forgot to hit record, but hit a nice little gap wedge to the middle of the green and left us with this putt. And honestly, not dissatisfied with this putt. Just need a little more speed, and it is what it is. Hole 11, we are 2 over, par 5. Trying to really hit down on this one to kind of punch it out there so that I could not get quick and under it and shove it. Same with this one. I'm aiming way left and playing for this exact miss because I was afraid if I hit a draw and shoved it, it was going to go OB. So that left me with this. And again, just trying to run this up, and it just died. So at this point, I'm just trying to course manage myself through this round because I know my body just can't do what I want it to do, and I'm just trying to not compound the errors. So another par, which is fine. And this hole here, again, I just clamped down on this and tried to hit a punch draw as hard as possible so that I just did not shove it. And this actually worked out great. Had a decent 30-ish footer for birdie, and ends up like foot out and just tap that in. That made life very easy on that hole, which was great. Moving on to hole 13 here. This is always a pretty gettable par 5. I hit this good. It just didn't peel as much as I wanted. I was kind of actually playing for getting stuck in a little bit because it kind of works for this hole, but I didn't, which was fine. I hit a punch 9-iron here. I had 135 to the pin, and so just clubbed up and punched it, and it ended up on the kind of the right side of the green, and I was hoping that I was going to hit this putt and the ridge was just going to take it kind of way more down to the hole, and it just stopped. So kind of ran out of gas on me, which was a bit annoying, and then I did not give this nearly enough gas, and so that's another 3-putt after being on and 2 in a par 5, so that's quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. Again, trying to do that same kind of clamp down punch draw here and just didn't give it enough gas, and so it just hits the slope and kicks off, which is fine because truthfully the chipping is feeling a lot better, and so I actually wasn't freaked out and was kind of like, that's a good place to leave it to this pin. We just kind of bang it up there and have a nice little shorty for par, knock that in. At that point I was kind of thought I could play a little better and was looking to kind of close out nicely, and I just shoved the crap out of this. The club was so far behind me, oh my gosh. So now I have 146 to this pin, and I somehow hit this like super sweet high cut 9-iron. It actually goes a little too far and kind of careens off the back there, but we're still on the fringe, which is good. I got to navigate a couple slopes here plus the fringe, and I was really pumped with just getting it down to the hole. I was afraid of not giving it enough gas, but then also if you give it too much gas, it'll run off the green entirely. This left a pretty tricky par save that I just drizzle in there, which is great. Hole 16 here, just looking to get it to the house, and I go for my punch cut driver, and I just hit way too down on this, and as you're gonna see here, I actually drove the ball right into the ground. So it didn't even get airborne, which was unfortunate. So I lost a ton of distance on that. Had 214 to this pin. It was a little downwind. Probably should have hit 4-iron, but I hit 5-iron instead because I thought it was going to run up there. As I got up there, it was completely soaked from the rain. The water had all collected in that area, so it didn't bounce up. And so I tried to hit hybrid up there because I didn't want to hit it fat with the wedges. And then the putt just died in front. So that's another bogey. So we're 3 over. I've got 176 to a back pin. I feel so uncomfortable playing game of golf at this point. I'm just trying to get it into the house without any significant damage. Hit a punch 6-iron up there. I thought this was going to take the slope more. I hit it a little too hard and it kind of went a little deep. However, we are able to make the par putt. So I was like, okay, great. Let's get into the house here. Like, we just got to get into the house. And so I hit what I thought was a really, really good like cut driver here just to get it out there. I was pumped with that. Took 8-iron here from 156 and just hit a punch cut 8. Just trying to get into the house without incurring more damage. And so we've got this up the hill, you know, and I'm just looking to 2-putt here and go home. And I absolutely gassed this. And just the greens were so slow. I thought on that kind of a slope, it wasn't going to be a problem. And then this putt back, I thought it's going to take the slope a little bit more, and it just doesn't come back enough. And so we bogey the last hole for our third 3-putt of the day. So all in all, just wanted to kind of show you guys this men's night round. This is the first one I filmed top to bottom. And you guys have been seeing my men's night recaps, and I thought this was kind of a really good indication of me managing myself around when I just really didn't have it. And I think on in previous circumstances, this would have been an 82 to an 85. And I was actually quite shocked watching this back, how I was able to get around considering some of the substantial errors I made. And had I been able to chip a little better and maybe take advantage of some of the par 5s in the situations I was in, if I didn't 3-putt and did that, I actually could have scrounged out an under par round here with not my best stuff. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously this isn't anything to scream about, but I think this is a positive step forward. Because in previous years, there's just no way I would have been able to keep a positive mindset feeling that terrible and having the club that stuck and just not knowing what to do. And so I thought that was pretty good kind of survival skills to just kind of bop around, and unfortunately just 2 crucial errors on the end. And I think I got to stick to that hybrid kind of punch shot for hole 16 there. Don't go to the punch driver when things start going sideways. I just got to go to that punch hybrid and use that as my off the tee club for safety. And I think that would have yielded some better results. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this men's night round, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.